Hi, welcome back to the Drafting Diaries. I think it is episode 3 now of me drafting my novel. If you're new here, I'm Vicky and I'm writing a fantasy novel. I don't have the blurb for it yet, so I don't know how to describe it without talking for literally 20 minutes. I would suggest go watching my other videos. But anyway, my first and second drafting video have been doing pretty well. I guess it kind of motivated me to make another drafting diaries video and write some more, because I have been writing lately but not as much, and this just gave me the motivation I needed to keep going. And I'm finally kind of at like an exciting part. I feel like I kind of got through the intro of my novel with the draft. The draft is rough. Let's just say it's the first draft, okay? The pacing, horrible, and I'm trying to get my style of writing to be consistent. I haven't left any gaps though. Like there's no gaps and like insert blank scene here. Like I write those scenes in, I just know I need to fill them out a little bit more. Anyway, a lot of new ideas have been coming to me, and I'm finally at the point in the novel where the two main characters are meeting, and the context in which they are meeting is it's a little bit intense. She's kind of like in jail and he's there to kind of help her, and I want to show and make sure I show their first interaction as something very noteworthy and something you look back at once finishing the entire, like, the duology and being like, oh yeah, that was the first time they met, and like it was a staple moment for each of them. And then finally getting to write the characters that I've been thinking so much about, like finally getting to the point where, okay, everyone is in play here, okay, because we're no longer at the intro point. Now we're settled in, we're locked into this setting here. Yeah, I just want to get some more writing done and talk a little bit more about some concepts and ideas. I've also have been thinking a lot about a second book not related to this at all. Let me know if you think that'd be interesting for me to make a video about, just starting a plot about a second book. It's definitely cyberpunk themed, it's definitely darker. But yeah, this fantasy story here, it's about fate, it's about destiny, and I know that sounds a little cliche. I want to tell it in a different way that I've not seen before, and I really want that intersection of technology and magic and what happens when those two things intersect. What if technology and magic were two things that existed simultaneously? Like, how would that interact with each other? What would be the fallout of that? What would happen after there was a war between that, and what would that look like? Our main character is thrown into a land that has not been touched by her human race for many, many years. And she's the biggest target. You know, is she a spy? Is she an envoy? What is she? What's her motivations? And the thing is, she hardly even knows, you know? She's just trying to make it back home. When your fate and your destiny is thrown at you and you don't want it, what do you do with that, you know? And that is really a part of what my story is about. Anyway, let's get to writing, I guess. Okay, I'm writing the scene where our main character finally faces this court because she has landed herself on this duke's land, and she has to face the court of all people, the guards of this kingdom, and she's kind of brought here like, how did you get here, why are you here, sort of thing. And I think it's just kind of hard to navigate such a scene, because you're thinking, what does one character know? What would they say in this instance about how much they know? How much do they believe the other character to know something? Because it's kind of like a miscommunication here of like, one person, the Duke, knows that like how she got here was not possible from their side of things, so like she must be lying, right? And so then she's saying, I'm not a liar, but she also doesn't know her motivations, so it's kind of like she is lying, so she's almost has like guilt to it. So then it's like then does the Duke explain, hey, actually this is not possible here, we don't know how did you even get here? Or do they just strictly not believe her, right? Like, what would that character do? And of course I can go back and rewrite it, but I don't know how long I want this to last. I guess I write very much to the point. I'm gonna have to fill in a lot later. I like writing very to the point because I don't like unintentional fluff, okay? Get me to the meat and bones of this story. I want meat and bones only, seasoning. I don't want no filler. I know we have to create atmosphere, create energy, but it's weird. I guess a lot of what I've read has been books where it's very much based on dialogue and not so much onto what the character's wearing, what the environment looks like, what this is going on. So I write to the point because I'm used to writing like that, or I really absorb writing like that, especially in like Dune or like Foundation. You don't know what's going on. Like, you don't know what's going on visually. You just get the dialogue and the motivations behind these characters. But this is in first person perspective, which I don't know if I'm going to change, because the perspective in my book is very attached to the ending of the book. That is going to make no sense to people reading this or watching this. Oops. But I don't know. I just don't know how long I want this scene to be. I don't know how dramatic I want it to be. I don't know. So part of me, the way I'm writing right now is like, they don't believe her. They're just going to throw her in jail. This stupid human. We're going to figure it out later. We're going to have to deal with the mess of this and then speak about it, you know? Because if I give too much initially, how are we going to be left guessing? I want to be left guessing and have things tie themselves together in a couple pages. You know, it'll find its way through, but it doesn't have to be immediately. So maybe I'll just keep it short for now and add stuff to it. I don't know. Let me see how much words I have. How do I see this? I have 5,800 words. Okay. Anyway. Okay, I'm gonna get back to writing. So this is how it's going. I have her in the middle here. I don't know if I really love the composition of this, but it is what it is. And I have the guards around her. I still really need to kind of fill them in. But this is kind of the idea of what I'm trying to do with their armor. I'm still trying to figure out their hands. But I mentioned in the book that they have like chainmail covering their face. I might do it over their entire face. That could be cool. So I'm still working on it. But one thing I realize as I look at art is that it gives me so much more inspiration to draw my book and be able to develop the aesthetic of it. Because I wasn't really thinking about what things look like that much, which is crazy because I am literally an artist. Like, that should be the thing I think about the most. But I think I just didn't have inspiration for what I thought these things would look like. I'm thinking generic fantasy landscape, but there's so many ideas. Like, I seen this photography on Pinterest of like these huge statues of swords in the ground, and I'm like, what a cool idea of like these obelisks just appearing everywhere, like these huge statue things appearing everywhere on the land, and having things that have significance to the plot shown in the land, and really giving thought to like, okay, how do these guards look? How do these cataphracts look? How are they armored? Because it's interesting because these guards are so armored to the T on both sides of the two kingdoms, like, that are fighting, the two rival houses that are somewhat fighting. The way that they're dressed is so heavily armored down to their toes, right? But they don't use this armor. This armor is almost an honor to times before them. And I think a lot of the people in the Ari in my book, which is like the Fae, more Fae-like beings, magic users, they are so reminiscent of a time where they had glory and honor, and they wear these armors that are truly just battle armor regularly when there's no fighting, there is really no actual conflict going on, but they do it just because of honoring a time when they were honored. And I want this armor to look so extravagant. And so I'm also just thinking, what would the design look like of the priestesses and priests and the people that are just in these houses, and what's the difference between what they wear and the other wear? And I think I really just need to go into the design process from an artistic lens, like I'm creating concept art for a movie, because I wasn't treating it like that, and the world almost didn't feel like it had a palette, a tone, a time period. You know, what is really the difference between the RE lands and the human world? So I think I'm going to really get into the design of this, because I think that's the only way I can truly immerse myself, is through my art. So maybe I'm just going to start a series of just drawing art from it. And it's kind of hard because you don't know what you're drawing, and I'm kind of drawing from I'm kind of working with what I drew before. Like she's in the same outfit, but her hair is unbraided, and it's because that's the outfit she was taken in, and it has significance to her, but it doesn't look like it fits, right? I don't want her to really look like she fits in, and everyone has horns, she doesn't have horns. But I really think that the art, for me, like the concept art of this, can really immerse me into this world and make me understand how it feels. And I can't believe I didn't think of this before, because I'm just such an artistic person. Like, it makes the most sense that I would connect to this world more if I made art for it, but somehow I just didn't know how to make, like, somehow the art just didn't feel like it would do enough for me. And I'm like, well, I should be making it do enough. I should be putting crazy effort into the design of these cataphracts, of these priestesses, these people that live in this world, what these structures look like. I'm not great at landscape drawings, but like, here's my chance. You know, here's my chance to work on these things and design these things, because this world is becoming real, and I want to share it with people, and that's why I put it out on YouTube. And so I think you guys seeing the art for it. And also, if you're an author, or you know, if you write and you ever want your characters drawn, I do art for authors. So if you ever want a commission, or you think of someone that might want a commission, you need like my style, yeah, hit me up on Instagram, because I do commissions. But anyway, I'm gonna keep drawing and keep getting inspiration. Shout out to fucking Pinterest. Pinterest is my everything. But yeah, I'm gonna treat this like it's a movie almost, like design, like I'm the costume designer, I'm the set designer. You know, I need to treat this like it's a movie, because otherwise I feel like I won't give it enough thought into what things look like, and I'm a visual person, so I need to get on that. So I'm gonna continue drawing and see where it goes. Morning, y'all. It is the next morning. This is my breakfast. It is literally masa, which is like Portuguese bread. I don't know, my family calls it masa. Okay, I'm not asking questions. I put peanut butter and mix with spirulina and some protein powder and bananas, and then some hemp hearts on top. Okay, I'm trying to have a proteinist breakfast, but let me share my plans with you. I want to make a new like diagram for my book. I want to put the belief structure into it. We're gonna call this the belief structure, okay? It's gonna be, what is actual reality of what's happening, the conception of this universe, the religion of this universe, the belief structure, like how this universe was created, what is told and then what is believed by each type of character in the book, and then that's how I can like move forward with interactions about who knows what, because I'm kind of like not thinking about who knows what, you know, and like that frames their entire point of view. Also the other continents, right? Like I can't just have my book be about the one like it is going to be about the one continent, but the world lore comes into play. But I kind of put myself into a tricky situation because the lore of my book is very crafted and specific. I feel like I mentioned this in my other videos. So there's gaps in history purposefully, and I want to put enough history there though. And I'm like, also, did this war happen too soon? What would a post-war look like 100 years later? And like 100 years ago, there was a war, you know? So I think that it would be talked about, but also time passes differently for these people. The RE, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the RE age till about a century, like past a century sometimes, but they only really start showing their aging in like the last 20 years of their life. So that is when they'll actually show their age. So you know that an RE is like gonna hit their expiry, okay, when they start actually showing their signs of aging within those 20 years. By the last year, they look really old, right? So they kind of, I guess they kind of know when they're gonna die in a way, depending on how they age. So yeah, I'm gonna make that diagram, but I'm going to the mall first. I need a workout set, so I don't think I'm gonna work out there. I think I want to come home and work. So okay, bye.